solving a multi-step equation given in fractional form. So my instructions say to solve for x. So I have an equation here with one variable, x's, okay? And I need to figure out what the value of that x is in this equation. So I like to think of solving equations in 3 steps. So the first step is to eliminate any big fraction bars, or you have to deal with this big fraction bar in some way, because right now it's acting as like a grouping symbol, and it's kind of locking all of these elements of my equation together as one big piece, and I can't start to undo that until I get rid of this fraction bar. So this fraction bar is really just a divide by 3, okay? So for my first step, to eliminate that big fraction bar, I'm going to do the opposite, right? Or the inverse. So rather than divide by 3, the inverse would be to multiply by 3. That will undo or cancel out this divide by 3 if I multiply by 3. And I'm going to put 3 over 1 just to keep my numerators and my denominators lined up. But if I multiply by 3 on this side, then I also have to multiply by 3 on that side. And I don't need to put the 3 over 1 over here because I don't have any fractions, okay? So like I said, this multiplying by 3 cancels out that divide by 3, and all I'm left with on the left side of my equation is the 4x plus 27. On the right side of my equation, right, if we kind of draw a line to separate left side from right side, I have 5 times 3, which is 15, okay? So step 2 is simplify each side of the equals separately. So there's my equals, right, my division between right side and left side. So if I look at the left side over here, I have 2 terms, 4x and 27. This one is a variable term because it has an x, a variable in it, and that one is a constant term because it doesn't have an x. They are not like terms, so I can't combine them or simplify them at all. So I'm just going to leave that side as it is. If I look at this side, again, nothing to simplify because I just have the 15. So I can just move right on through step 2 and move on to step 3, which is get the variable by itself. So here's where I start the actual solve process. So I'm trying to isolate or get the x by itself. So I need to do 2 steps of algebra here. One to get rid of the plus 27 and another step to get rid of that 4 right there. Before I can start working on this term that has the x in it, I need to get rid of any other terms that are over on this side. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract that 27, again using inverse operations. And then to keep my equation balanced, I also need to subtract 27 from the other side. Okay, so these two zero out, and I'm left with just 4x on the left. And 15 minus 27 is negative 12 on the right. Now I'm down to just this one term, so the last thing I'm going to do is kind of undo or use inverse operations to get rid of that 4. And this is implied multiplication right there. It's actually 4 times x. So the inverse would be divide by 4 so that those 4's cancel out. Over here, to balance my equation, I also have to divide by 4. So I'm left with just x on the left equals negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3 on the right, and I have my solution.